Welcome today to the American News Channel. I'm Robert, this is my fellow anchorman Frank, and our number one reporter, Steve. So, space race. Don't know what it is? Well, let me tell you right now. After America's plan to send a satellite into space and map the world, the Russians have gotten there first.
Yes, but still today is a monumental achievement for mankind. Today the U.S. is joining the space race against the Soviet Union. We as Americans have high hopes of beating the satellite Sputnik, also known as the Russian Traveler. Ever since October 4th, 1957, the launch of this satellite in Russia, the U.S. is doing its hardest to outdo the Soviets. Now, what is all of the commotion over space? Well, ever since the start of this Cold War, the U.S. and Russia have been in competition over, well, just about everything. And space is just another arena of battle for the United States of America and the Russian Soviet Union to fight over. And as of now, the USSR are winning. But we have put massive budgets into making and sending our own satellites into space. We go now to our trusted reporter in Russia, Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Very good, Frank, thank you for asking. I'm here with the president of the Russian space program, Sergei Grigorovich. Sergei, what are some of your feelings about Russia being the first into space?
Well, I feel it is no big surprise that the Soviet Union has made space first. You know, seeing that Russia has ultimate superpower and industrialism, thanks to Stalin.
Well, where do you think Russia will head next in terms of space exploration?
Well, I know for a fact that there is no one who can compete with Russia, not even America. We are unmatched by anyone.
Hold on. I am being told that Russia isn't the first man in space, a Mr. Yuri Gagarin in a spacecraft known as the Vostok. Congrats making this incredible achievement.
So obvious, of course we have sent the first man into space. Like I said, no one can compete.
Well, how do you feel about America entering this race into space?
Americans can try, but they won't win. When Russia starts this race, we finish it. Compared to America's democracy, Russia's communist system is just legendary. What has America done in the past to improve industrial output? Nothing. Under Stalin, Russia has improved in such a way.
Calm down, sir. You need to get feisty on national television.
Yes, it is true. America is entering the space race, even if Russia is sent the first person into space. We believe we can shoot higher. We now go to our exclusive interview with our expert politician on the subject of space. And he has some news about where America stands on all this as well. So Steve, let Mr. Brian Gallagher take it from here.
So where are we in relation to the Soviets?
Yes, well, currently the U.S. has sent a satellite into space before that man even made it into space. It is known as Explorer 1, and it was created just to orbit our planet. Our president, Dwight Eisenhower, has signed a public order called the Space Act, and has created NASA, which stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. What this means is that we, the U.S., will now get more involved in space, and to make sure the Soviets are not up to anything harmful or dangerous to the world. Then Russia launched the Luna 2, which is the first space probe to ever even touch the moon. And the U.S. technically sent the first living thing into space with our test using chimpanzees. Then came Mr. Gagarin and his amazing feat. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well that is great to know. Thank you, Brian. Now we go to our reporter once again to hear a Soviet astronomer's side of the story of all these wonderful achievements. Steve, you over there? Yes, so I'm here with astrological expert Anton Zlotnick. Tell us, Anton, how was it you were able to send a man into space so quickly? How did it go?
Yes, Yuri Gagarin. This doctor is a celebrity here. After all, he's the only man who has ever been into space. Anyways, you see, there are many people we could have chosen from to send into space. But we would need someone with experience with such conditions in a flying craft. So who better than someone like Yuri, who is an amazing pilot himself?
That's nice to know. But how's his actual trip into the cosmos?
Well, he was in space a whole 108 minutes before he started on his way back to our planet. As soon as he was on his way back, his craft hatch blew off 23,000 feet and soon landed 2 miles away from the village of Smelovka. Gagarin reached 27,000 kilometers per hour, which was 3 times faster than anyone who had flown previously.
I'm sure there's a lot of things taking the time to answer these questions. Back to you, Frank.
Thank you, Steve. May 20th of 1969 marked 2 important events for the United States. The first man on the moon and the final hours of the space race. Neil Armstrong, along with Michael Collins and Buzz Aldrin, were part of the Apollo 11 mission. Armstrong uttered the famous words,
"One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
when they finally touched down. The Soviets made 4 failed attempts between 1969 to 1972, but it looks as though the U.S. has won the 12-year race to put a man on the moon. Now, for sports and weather.
Thank you, Frank. Today is yet another beautiful day at Kennedy Space Center. And a perfect day for space travel, that's for sure. Today's high was a warm 81 degrees and sunny. Up in space, Neil Armstrong played a round of zero-gravity golf with his fellow astronauts. He was really trying to earn his bread in putter, huh? It's funny. Nothing? Not funny? Okay then. That concludes our story on the space race. Thanks for watching and have a good afternoon. Face! You know what? Just race.